Good morning and welcome to the Capitalgang. I am Oscar Semoya Msoke, and as Moses would say, Moses Kaule of a morning show with a bevy of topics. But in the studio, I have the senior Moses Piarahanga is in the studio. You're most welcome to the Capitalgang.
Thank you, Oscar, my colleagues in the studio, and our listeners out there. I've been away for quite a while, but I'm back.
You're back. Right there, seated in Ofonopondo's chair. Ofonopondo was nominated. I also have the money man of NUP, Mr. Benjamin Katana. You're most welcome to the Capitalgang.
You know, your introductions have created the wrong impression out there. People think that I have money when I don't. But thank you very much, Mwalimu. Good morning to you, colleagues in the studio and the listeners of this show.
When you're the treasurer, you know, it means that you have the money.
It's about mandate, not about possession.
Okay. Honorable Semuju is in the studio, easily the smartest person in the studio. You're most welcome to the Capitalgang.
So how is smartness measured?
A dapper blue suit. And I thought you were done with blue, but there you are.
So where do you live? My color is blue and white.
Blue and white.
Yes.
So the shirt is white, the tie is blue and red, the suit is blue, so you're in really party colors.
Yes.
Okay. Moses is in party colors as well with a yellow.
It's fading yellow.
This is a Gant.
Yeah, it's fading. No, you're not talking about the brand, you're talking about the fading color.
This is a Gant.
What is that? What is that supposed to mean?
I don't know that you know it. You just pick anyway.
No, where I picked it is also somewhere, so it doesn't matter. Because even mine is not on the street.
Yeah.
Some of them you find them walking.
Even that one, it was on the street, but maybe the streets are different.
You find people vending them or holding them. Some of those streets you are putting on.
Then we have Dr. Yusuf Serunkuma in the studio. Most welcome to the Capitalgang.
Thank you so much for having me, Oscar.
Yes, I'm also expecting Honorable Mbide and Honorable Dombo, who are on their way, hopefully. Moses Piarahanga here is the manifesto man of the NRM. He writes manifestos. Benjamin Katana contributes to the NUP manifesto, and Serunkuma is the anti-manifesto person. So at some point this morning, we are going to talk about manifestos. So Honorable Semuju, let's start with nominations. How did your nomination go?
It went well. And I want to thank police. Of course, this time...
I hope the recorder is on it. Such a rare event for Honorable Semuju to thank police.
These days, they work with the military. But the bulk were policemen. So I want to thank them. In my area, they restricted me, but in a professional way. You are not expressing anger as if you have committed a crime against them. They will tell you these are the instructions. A day before nomination, I was assembling a platform near Nambole Stadium. There is a parking there. They stopped and then ordered the truck that had brought it to take it back. So that's when I jumped on it, tuk-tuk, and people thought it was a campaign. My car had gone for washing. And I was meeting borders. So when they told me police is confiscating the podium, I had to use the available means of transport. And what was available was a tuk-tuk. I had to choose between a motorcycle and that tricycle. So I went there, I explained. Majority of them were professional. You disagree, but with respect. So the following day, they came and told me, you have a lot of people who will guide you. At the border between my constituency and the neighboring Chadondo East, they said you can't proceed beyond here. And I said, that's okay. It's a good thing there was a school with a larger compound. So I asked my people, pleaded with them, please stay here. And many of them listened, others didn't. So went to Wakiso and came back. The only problem I got along the way was the DPC of Kasangat, who was behaving like a criminal. These are the colleagues that behaved in a professional way. They restrict you, but they will explain why. But the one of Kasangat, the few borders that came, he ordered his men, they picked a baton, started brutalizing people, injured them. And I told him, you guys, are you doing this on behalf of police or you have a nugu against me? So the exercise was largely, that is my area, but also countrywide. We didn't have the experience of last time, because last time Pierre Hanga and his boss, they were thanking God for bringing COVID. So they used it optimally to restrict campaigns, no expression. Because you see, campaigns bring excitement. I keep telling security people and NRM, people who go to Nambole to watch a football match, they will go exhibiting and displaying excitement and happiness along the way. It's natural.
Especially if Uganda wins.
No, even before the match, they will go happy. You will see, you will see that excitement in Chireka. But these fellows want us to hold funeral-like processions, which but even before, the thing that we used to do, there are restrictions this time with the campaigns, because in the last 2 times, for me to go for my nomination, I had a procession from my home to Wakiso and then back, and you meet no police. So yeah, that's how the nomination in my case went, but also in many other cases. And that's why I said, Oscar, I want to thank police. They were professional, with the exception of a few cases of vigilantes who found themselves in police.
Yeah. But so for your PFF party, how many MPs have you been able to put forward? How many were nominated?
We have about 100. I haven't checked, because with the nominations, you sign papers. Some people don't go to nominate. I remember in FDC we had that experience. You give people, because in FDC we had the luxury of even paying for nomination. Someone picks it and then he switches off his phone. But as a Secretary General, I had stamped for about 110. I am still retrieving information from the field to know who nominated and who didn't. We didn't have the luxury of money to pay for nomination fee. And that's why I cannot speak with certainty that everybody whose papers I signed has nominated. But that was the number. Yeah.
You don't have a central organization, something like that, to determine that all your MPs have been nominated? No,
as I said, we are retrieving information because the exercise ended just yesterday. We have an electoral commission with the representation at a regional level. So they are collecting that information to know who nominated. Because I've told you, in the past, you commission people to go for nomination. By the time the nomination ends, some have nominated, others haven't.
Yeah, I was until Benjamin told us of those practices here on Gang. I had not even imagined that side of things. So, and then on to you, Benjamin Katana, regarding nominations. But let's first welcome Honorable Dombo, Emmanuel Lumala Dombo. Welcome to Gang. I know you've missed the samosa, so you'll be busy with that area. And we shall get to you shortly. And you know, when Moses is here, we also get yogurt, so you have enough to keep you busy. So,
I had the honor.
About this man?
I had the honor of visiting his village the other day.
Yes.
And I came back wondering if he's part of the choir singing, protecting the gains, because I didn't see any in Vitareja. I looked for the good schools. In fact, the people were complaining about the schools that collapsed, the ginaries that closed, the challenges in the rice sector. But that's the conversation I will have with my senior brother after the show.
Right.
The nominations went on, I would say, largely in many places successfully. Like the Honorable Semuju has mentioned, compared to the conduct of police and security forces in 2021 regarding treatment of contenders, it was largely better. Also,
let's put your microphone up a little bit.
An indication that it is normally the security agencies that bring violence in these processes. When they restrain themselves, there's no violence. We, particularly as NUP, have had challenges in a number of constituencies where some of our contenders were barred from being nominated. I think the most prominent example is in Bukedea, where even prior to the nomination day, we had our candidate removed from the voters' register, reportedly on the orders of the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, who is the area MP for Bukedea. We looked for an alternative candidate. We have been receiving mixed reports, but even this morning I received a voice note from her to the party leadership complaining of the ordeal that she went through, allegedly that she was, I would say, kidnapped, because it was not an arrest, and driven around until late in the night when she was dropped in Mukono. We have had similar challenges in Kakumiro. We have had similar challenges in Ruhinda North, and a number of other constituencies where very big people in NRM did not want to be contested against. We also had challenges in some parts of West Nile and the Acholi area, where most of the contenders had their families intimidated, the persons themselves intimidated. Yeah, but by and large, at least we do not have any of the contenders hurt. We had a number of people who were arrested that day, similar case like the Honorable Semunjo has mentioned, particularly in that area of Chira, but I think many of them have been since released. Yeah, but the exercise, at the moment, I may not be able to give the figures of how many people were nominated, but I think even before the end of the day, the party is going to have a press briefing and give all those details.
But can you estimate how many NUP has been able to field? Has NUP filled enough to take over government if all your candidates win? And you can see Serunkuma laughing.
Yes, sure, but I think taking government is more than fielding candidates. Like I mentioned, we have those that were barred from being nominated. So for now, I may not be able to say how many. I think there are also incidents where one of the contenders was arrested, I think in the Mubende area. So I may not be able to know the numbers as of now, but even maybe before the show, I will be able to establish from Office of the Secretary General how many were successfully nominated. Yeah. Okay.
Moses Biarhanga, how was nomination for your party?
I think Honorable Dongo will talk about that generally, but what I know that I think we have about 7 unopposed in NRM. Dongo can correct me, 7 or 6 who are unopposed.
The Speaker, the Deputy Speaker, and 5 others.
Oh, yeah, and 5 others. I have their names. So, but let me leave the nomination of MPs to Honorable Dombo. But also, we have also the nomination of MPs is the climax of all the nominations in the country. I think we started with lots of local governments, and then presidential candidates, and now MPs. I was just looking at the information from the Electoral Commission. At the district level, a local government level, we have 146 districts and cities. NRM nominated candidates in each one of them. We have 146 candidates. Other parties, I think the one next, the others are independents. I think NUP there has only 49 out of 146. If you go, that's for district chairpersons and city mayors. If you go to sub-county chairpersons, the NRM nominated 2,153 for all the sub-counties. The independents are 2,800. There are even more than 8 NRM nominated. And the NUP has only 619. Sub-county councillors at LC3, NRM nominated 10,346. Independents are 6,000. The other one next to us is NUP is 2,049. Women councillors at sub-county level, NRM nominated 12,000. Independents are 4,000. NUP has 1,300. District councillors, NRM nominated 2,233. The independents are 2,500. I think NUP has 638. Municipal chairpersons, NRM nominated 56. Independents are 152. NUP has 39. Other parties, some of them
152
independents.
Whoa.
But the cities are not all that many. The district women councillors, NRM nominated 1,700. Independents are 1,200. The other person next to us is NUP is 300. So this tells you the country that if you're going for an election, if you don't have somebody to stand for you as a councillor somewhere or as a chairperson, it should really be a gigantic task to think you can even win a presidential or any other election. Like the question you asked, Katana, that do you think if all you had nominated were to win, have you nominated everywhere? Definitely not. And I think, Mr. Katana, when you're talking about our party, we need to be genuine. You mentioned somebody who was arrested, in Kassand, I think. I heard about it. What happened, what I got, is that this person went, I think, people have been going to some of the areas where they manufacture receipts and so forth, went with a forged receipt that they have paid the nomination fee, which they had not. And then, in the campaigns, people report each other, even from the same party or in the other independent, so has done this. So they went and reported them that this one have a fake receipt. On finding, it was not a genuine URA receipt. And then now, the lawyers are there. They charge you with presenting forged documents. Now, that's not a question of that.
Someone would go to stand against Anita Among with a forged receipt?
No, I said in Kassand.
Okay. I
said in Kassand, I was specific. That's what I picked.
Okay.
That somebody had a forged receipt from URA.
Who need is to forge?
That's what I'm following up.
That's the very one who should forge, because you're not sure you will stand.
So if somebody goes, now you come here and say, our candidate was arrested, so you are unable to nominate. But if somebody has committed a crime, that's a crime. It's not for you as the party, but it's an individual crime. And you leave it at that. So Honorable Dobo can talk about the MPs.
Yes, I like how Moses Birahanga plays with figures and so on.
He will respond and dismantle his very weak argument.
Benjamin, did NUP pay for your candidates? Or each candidate paid their own?
We paid for a number of them, not all of them. And it was on the basis of... because we did not have sufficient money, so we asked those with the challenges to write to the party and express the need to be supported. And on that basis, we were able to support a number of them, over 100, about 150. Yeah.
Okay.
We couldn't afford to pay for each and every one of them. Would have loved to do that. Yes, but on the question of people being arrested at the point of nominations on flimsy grounds, this is not new in the history of Uganda. You remember in the 1980 elections, some people were arrested at the roadblock. I have always heard the hilarious story about the late Honorable Changamacho. that they said the policeman who could not even speak English stopped him at the roadblock and said, no, you cannot proceed to nomination because you don't know English. So these explanations that Moses is giving are not new. They are part of the shenanigans.
That your candidate presented the forged documents.
That is yet to be proved by court.
You can come here next Sunday.
That is yet to be proved by court. You and I have.
This is the case.
You and I have not looked at it, but you and I know that there is a history of people being denied nominations on flimsy grounds.
And also there's a history of people forging documents. Haven't you ever had, you are a lawyer, aren't you? Haven't you ever had people forging documents?
Yeah.
If it is one or two, then it is not a base.
No, I said on all that one.
Yeah.
I didn't say all of them.
Hold on a bit. Let's first get NRM report.
I just want to comment on forgery.
Okay.
That forgery is only bad if you're found, if you're caught.
Right.
But if you go to the NRM side, it's a typical forging house. The difference, they're never caught. So that day will come when they get told.
So how can they?
Because
They
they are in the position to determine what is forged and not forged.
What are you talking about?
You want us to go into the details?
Yeah, you go there.
For now,
What have you forged, you and I?
Go the details.
for now, we are still doing nominations.
Somebody has a forged document.
I gave a theoretical position that forgery is the thing about power. That for those in power determine the forging.
Okay.
And their time comes when they also get caught for the forgery.
Let's not divert from. Yes.
To our friends who are listening, the Baganda have a saying.
Your friends. They are
Who are
just
saying have a saying that
Friends of KFM.
gwe bakwatira mu kituli yaba omubbi, so gwe bakutte ne forgery gwe bakwatidde mu kituli, let them talk for themselves, other than imputing that because they have been arrested,
So you have.
there must be an equal number or more on the other side who haven't been caught. That one isn't there in the law.
You therefore agree with Serunkuma.
Oh no.
But let me ask the question first. How many were you able to get nominated for MPs?
For us, we started the counting with those who came unopposed, because that's where we started. Because for us,
talked about
because that was a delivered good, and let me tell you that. Let me tell you that we have had NRM candidates in all the constituencies of Uganda nominated. All the districts of Uganda, they have been nominated. Save for a few where we have had calamities, like in Butaleja, where we have our flag bearer for the district who died yesterday, Mr. Joseph Muyonjo, and no district chairman, LC5, flag bearer. And we have since notified the Electoral Commission, both the official Electoral Commission, but also the NRM Electoral Commission. And I know they are going to make arrangements so that we can have a replacement, because there is still ample time. Like I've said, that for us who have been more excited right now about the members who have been returned unopposed, and you have heard the two principals, the Speaker and her deputy. That is public information. But we also have the woman MP of Arua, Honorable Paparu Lilian Obiale. This is the second time she's being returned unopposed. Some people are lucky, or they have worked so well in their places that the people love them. In Kiruhura, woman MP, Honorable Rujio Kimishabe, has been returned unopposed. Honorable Mavenjina Catherine, all the persons, has been returned unopposed. I don't know what happened to my brother Ofono Pondo. Nominated, but he should have come unopposed, because I can see all the persons, many of them are coming unopposed. We are going to find out if there is anything that we can do to have it. No, to have a discussion. That's politics. There is Honorable Kugonza Emily from Buyanja, returned unopposed. There is Honorable Joy Wako, the female MP, older persons. Joy Wako has been returned unopposed, and the Honorable Banya from Koboko Municipality. To us, we believe that by the time we go to the main elections, this number will keep growing, because
the woman MP for
Rubirizi,
Jennifer Arena Itwe, the one for Koboko.
Yes, of that Emily.
Koboko County. Emmanuel Banya.
Mr. Banya. So we are still counting, and I want to tell you that this is an indication already of the population of Uganda. When we came here and demonstrated that we had numbers in the registers about 20 million, some people doubted. When they went to the primaries and they saw the massive turn-up, people doubted. When they have failed to raise candidates in those areas, now that confirms to them and speaks loud and clear. And we believe that now that the presidential campaigns are on and you have seen how the performance has been happening and the outturn, that everything is going to be okay. But for my friend, you should have told me that you are going to Butaleja. If we had known earlier that you are going to visit, I could have hosted you at home so that you know what we do. Butaleja has its own challenges, but because you are there for the first time, now you have no comparison. You don't know what happened before and what is happening now. But Butaleja you're talking about, our water coverage under NRM is about national coverage, a national average. It's one of the few areas where we have electricity in every parish of the county. You saw the piped water being extended from Bali, a massive water project covering 2 town councils and the surroundings. And every sub-county has got health center 3 and a city school or secondary school. And every parish has got a primary school. These are things we have worked for.
Oscar.
No, I was just responding, my friend.
You have started sounding very boring. Yet there are people who are listening.
It's very okay. Then, Honorable, did NRM pay for their candidates?
Absolutely, yes. For us, it is a responsibility that we undertake. Even when money took time to come and the members took time to submit their accounts, because in order to have good transparency, you either had to give your correct phone numbers in your names. Where your phone numbers are not in your names, we don't remit money through mobile money, but we remit money through the boxes. We pay money for every NRM flag bearer for the positions that they hold. That is the responsibility of the party.
And I have a comment here on X, formerly
the
Twitter.
mood of Dombo.
It says, Karamaji Frederick tells you that in the previous election you had over 30 unopposed.
No.
And now it has dropped.
It was 5.
It was 5. So this Karamaji Frederick, Semujo has corrected you. You are not right. Herbert Adroa is already posting a poster of Mr. Emmanuel Banya. Okay. And then your comments on the nominations of the opposition parties, especially the NUP party.
No, the process. When the Honorable Norbert Mao came out publicly to say this is likely to be, actually I said it is going to be the quietest election
In the world.
Many of us did not understand exactly what he meant.
We did.
But when you look at the conduct of the exercise, I want to congratulate all the players either side, the politicians themselves and the aspirants who are now candidates and have been successfully nominated, but also the security agents, because at times their overzealousness creates a problem and a challenge. We have been in many places where they've had the by-elections. The other time when we were in the Omoro by-election, my brother, young brother, Honorable Boyne, came with his team. And overzealous as usual by some... Just a moment.
I think you are unfair to police and the military. You are the ones who are deploying them.
Me?
When you, the institution, when you tell them not to beat people, they don't. That is standard. Their behavior now is not because police sat down and reflected. It is because the instructions now is for not beating.
We have had,
when you tell them to beat, they will beat.
We have had policemen.
So don't accuse them.
We have had policemen acting badly, and they have appeared before various tribunals, and they have been held responsible. Some have been arraigned before the courts of law. So government cannot take responsibility for the misconduct of individuals. Where instructions have been given, we know, and government knows how they have handled that. But I want to tell you that this process has been okay because of the various engagements between the stakeholders, the politicians, and the security agents. And we believe that the election is likely to be better.
I will visit with Katana at Butaleja. I want to see where piped water is working. Chigo is a problem. So now
And even the electricity wires he's talking about, they just go over the houses. We are actually laughing that how come this electricity, you see poles and wires going over the houses, there are no wires going into the houses.
But Benjamin, sometimes...
At one time there was no wires at all anyway.
So people should celebrate the passing of the wires.
But Benjamin, many times Honorable Dombo can be very honest. He says one of the few areas that have electricity in all places. So I think it's a work in progress. Dr. Yusuf Serunkuma, you've heard from different parties here, PFF, NUP, and NRM. With candidates that were nominated. Of course, NRM is the dominant one. What's your take on the conclusion of nominations?
You know, the first comment, I picked it from what the question you asked, Benjamin, whether they've nominated enough candidates to take over government. I think that's the wrong question, because once NUP wins the presidency, because it's normally the presidency which matters, all those people will work for the NUP government. They will
cross in the morning.
They cross. The people there are not really NRM diehards. They're not ideologically positioned in support of the NRM. They are there because the NRM is the party in power. So normally, that's human nature. You oscillate towards the powerful. So once NUP manages to wrestle its way to the presidency, as even Dombo will show up in red and maybe start wearing a red beret, and he has a history of crossing. So you won't be surprised when Dombo shows up here in a red beret.
That would be the day.
It won't be atypical. It's typical of Dombo.
You can see them laughing, and it speaks for themselves.
Oscar, you know, listening to the two opposition political parties in the studio, PFF and NUP, sound very happy with the way the nomination happened. It was peaceful. At some point, I felt like we are soon declaring himself a Democrat, you know, because it was so peaceful, and that they.
You mean you've not gone to hospital to greet a patient and he says, I am okay? So that Oscar, you have not experienced.
I almost felt like they fell short of saying, I think Museveni has become a Democrat. But if we all agree that we live under an autocracy, when you see nominations for political positions being this peaceful, either it is resignation of those fighting against the autocracy, or the autocracy has finally figured out how to fully control those fighting it, to the point that resistance has become difficult, has become normalized, that, you know, we can go through the avenues provided by the system under which you operate and continue the status quo. That's my sense when I feel that, because I think if you're opposing an autocrat, you have to be in trouble. There should be trouble all the time, because our lives are troubled lives. You see, so the peacefulness of it, for me, while it should be celebrated, the larger picture is that we have resigned to the status quo. We're all saying, let's go work with the system as it exists. Let's operate under it. That's how I see it. But also, Oscar, I need to say that we have normally not had much controversy and pushing and shoving during NRM nominations. In fact, the most controversial ones and supposedly, and actually the most violent, are NRM primaries. NRM primaries are way more controversial, way more violent than the actual national parliamentary nominations.
That's when they always deliver on it.
Yeah, so you can see that because they are pushing and shoving to access the dining table, so there, potentially, there's so much violence. And as we've seen before, especially Maogola in the last election was really violent. And if SEC would be taken as the example not too long ago, what also happened shows you that internal NRM politics are way more controversial and more violent than national politics. But we are yet to judge, Oscar, whether this election will be as peaceful as it looks as yet. Because what matters mostly is not these parliamentary positions, right? What matters mostly is the presidential position. And we are yet to see the full scale of what is going to happen. You know what? The moment was November in the 2021 election. It was November, December, that we saw the true face of this government. That, because as I've said before, it is the season which worries the NRM more. This electoral season is worrying, especially when it comes to Uganda, closer to the seat of government. So then the seat will start to say, are we really threatened? Is there a potential threat that people supposedly opposing this government will choose not to seek electoral victory and perhaps seek something more than simple electoral victory, right? As we saw in Kawempe, what Museveni fears most, and all those who work for him, is not really that people are going to win an electoral process, but what possibly can they do much more in an electoral process? Can they turn around and say, we're not interested in victory at the polls, but we can actually use this momentous season to push this government out of office? Now, the closer, I'm more interested in events in the center of the country, nearer the seat of government. Say in Uganda, most especially, closer to Nakasero, closer to Entebbe. Those are the things that worry me more. That when we get closer to the seat of government, especially in the central region, as we move November, December, then we will see whether this election is actually as quieter as Norbert Mao said, or much more is to happen. But as yet, MP nominations, councillor nominations, those are generally peaceful, because they don't matter so much in the larger play of things.
Yeah. You speak as if does it really matter to have such an election? Is that what you're implying?
I said, I think the last time I was here, I said we signed up to a very entertaining process. But it's chiringe chivulu. It's like a circus. Circuses are very entertaining. There's so much energy. It takes so much time in it. But, we all know at the end of the day, we'll have majority NRM in parliament. As, people have been here celebrating the unopposed. We'll have a fairly sizable opposition in parliament, which will be very exciting to watch. There will be a raucous debate in parliament. I think Samju will come back, and true to character, Samju has often been exciting to watch in parliament. I think they will have a couple more newer faces from the NUP ticket who will be really exciting to watch, right? But there's not much more than the excitement. There's not much more. It's like a circus. It's exciting to watch. But when it comes to things that matter to the country...
no power.
No, you see, we talk about protecting the gains, right? Which I think we're protecting the pains. The pains we've gone through as a country. And looks like all of us have signed up to the drama and the excitement. Yeah, Oscar, I was here when Joe Sonyenyi grilled Mturachi for the position of CEO of Uganda Airlines. It was a very exciting moment. But she's still the CEO. We debated, I think, for weeks. She's still the CEO. We debated UCDA for extended periods. Still, they dissolved it. Every person who matters in this country, in terms of coffee, had an anti-UCDA dissolution. Every person who matters in this country with a voice in coffee. From even our retired economic Professor Ezra, we can go over these people. Every person who matters as regards the coffee business concerned said, don't dissolve UCDA. They dissolved it. So beyond the excitement...
And what has been lost?
Beyond the excitement and the drama of this electoral process and the fairly sizable opposition we'll have in parliament, majority NRM, the status quo will be sustained. The things that matter to us as Wananchi, the decisions are not taken in parliament, Oscar. Decisions are taken elsewhere. But, opposition and those and us in the media, we find this season exciting. I said, Oscar, before, that the day people opposing Museveni decide not to seek victory at the polls, then this process will mean much. The day they say we're going into this process not to seek victory at the polls, but to use this process for something much more meaningful than simply taking the ballots and then, because we're not in charge of the counting, and then somebody's declared winner. The day that happens, and interestingly, it's actually what Museveni fears most, is that if these people turn around and say we're not actually going to just tick the ballot boxes, we want to actually use the season to push you, because Museveni, in his calculation, he's more prepared for such a possibility than simply ticking the ballot boxes.
interesting view. That's worthy a discussion at another time.
It's like a football commentator.
Yeah.
He has argument for your loss and argument for your win. The same team.
What
when you win, he will explain how good you are. When you lose, he will explain how bad you are.
Yeah.
And you can't be both.
Oscar, you know, we've lived in this country for the last 7 years. We've seen the electoral processes. We are at it 40 years into somebody's presidency. Nothing can be true after that.
Well, Emmanuel Domba has told you that the process is very good, very democratic. They have an opposed people and so on. But Honorable Semuju and Benjamin Katana, tell us about the other political parties, opposition parties as well. And fielded, do you know how many they fielded? FDC?
At this stage, it's not simple to establish the figures until either they are published or they are accessed by people like Biaranga. At our level, you may not access this information until it is published. I don't think the Electoral Commission will give it to you. But for me, Oscar, even before that, the NRM is celebrating that there are people who are unopposed, the opposition is unable to field candidates. You can have an independent winning an election. The first time I contested for a member of parliament, that constituency called Chadondo East, at that time, I had only one FDC councillor, but I was able to win. Majority councillors were DP, followed by NRM. But also you need to look at the electoral areas in Uganda. Before the show, I was talking to Moses. Karamoja, with 1.4 million people, has 26 MPs. Wakiso district, with 3.4 million people, has 9. So if you celebrate Karamoja, and it's deliberate, the Honorable Segona represents a constituency of 800,000 people, the biggest in the country. Mine, Kira municipality, is 500,000. Bigger than Tororo district with about 9 MPs. Tororo district is about 350 something people. They have 9 MPs.
They're more than 700. There are 310 voters.
No. The whole district, look at the population of Tororo.
It's more than 300.
It is not the size of Chira municipality.
No, I said
for me, it doesn't matter. Okay, you can put it at 400, whatever. But the point is, they are about 9. They are about 9. No, not 3. I mean, Biaranga, look at the figures. The Ruwero district has about 350. Smaller than
350,000.
Yes. The population, the whole population
of what?
Of Ruwero. So Ruwero is smaller than, in terms of population, is smaller than the Chira municipality. Even Tororo district, you can look at the actual figures. After that, I can check.
Yeah.
The population is smaller than Chira municipality, the whole of Tororo.
But it's not 300,000.
It doesn't matter. We can look at the figures. They have 9 MPs.
You can accept it. 310,000.
Okay, he can add.
Those are voters.
Those are not voters. Those are not voters.
They register here.
Yeah, but you see, Segona's constituency is 800,000. The voters are 300. So you mean Tororo with a smaller figure has the biggest voting population? You can look at the figures, Moses. Refresh yourself. So the point is, Oscar, Kampala with 1.5 million people, 10 MPs. Karamoja with less population, 26. So this number of councillors Biaranga is throwing in your face. Yeah, they are just councillors representing I don't know who. Because in my area, the village where I stay has a voting population of 5,300. The neighboring village called Namataba has 10,000 voters. Both of them have one councillor. That population is almost the same population as Karenga district with about 200 councillors. So when you are speaking to an ignorant audience, please, you can celebrate those figures that have been fictitiously created. And that even goes to other administrative areas. So for me, the point is, where the opposition is present, you made sure that the administrative units are not created. Where the NRM is very big, you have 1,000, 2,000 councillors, after nomination, certainly you will come here and celebrate. Speak about Kampala, Wakiso, Masaka, and other areas. So I wanted to deal with those figures that are brought here Dombo in a very exciting mood, because he came to tell.
Moses has given it. Toro is 318,576. This is the
Voters.
voters.
Those are voters, yeah.
What is the population there in
Give
Toro?
us now, Kira.
No, I want the population, because I have the figures of population from the National Bureau of
Okay,
Statistics.
as you are as you're exchanging, what about Benjamin? The other parties as well. It was interesting to see your principal visiting Jimmy Akena.
Principal.
Yeah.
I don't know if Moses has decided to cross even before power shift. He seems to be.
Knowledgeable.
Yeah,
Yes.
basically, like my colleague there mentioned, we of course are yet to establish how many other opposition parties have fielded in the different constituencies. But just to emphasize the point he was making, that the process does not start and end on the day of nominations. The gerrymandering, that where the NRM thinks they stand a better chance of getting many MPs, they fracture constituencies into so many. Here in Kampala and Wakiso, in this electoral cycle, they have merged the number of electoral areas. You find where there were 2 councillors, there is going to be 1. But in places that are less populated, you have the number of councillors increasing, the number of MPs increasing. But by and large, the opposition parties face similar challenges. Because the particular example I've given of Bukedea, the people who were blocked from contesting were not only the NUP prospective candidates, but even the FDC candidate, the independent candidate. So these challenges cut across. They are not restricted to a singular political party. The other aspect associated with that question of fielding of candidates is the money factor. That in many places, actually across the country, I think all these parties could find people to run for these electoral processes, but they do not have the money even to pay for nomination fees. Yet these political parties do not have money. Ugandans are yet to, many of them, to develop a culture, but of supporting financially their political parties, but also many of them don't even have the money. So you have some, because for us, the people who missed out on account of not being able to pay, even when we are ready to contribute for them, are very many. So I believe that other political parties even faced worse challenges in terms of raising money, because if you are going to nominate even just 50 people, you are talking about over 150 million. These parties have no revenue, they have no means of generating income, so it becomes a problem.
You didn't collect from the primaries, but
Yes.
you haven't answered the question I asked. Meeting with the Jimmy Akena, the president of the other UPC, are you building alliances? Is Jimmy Akena, did he manage to register for MP, or he has lost out completely?
Yeah, I'm not certain if he got nominated to run for MP, but we have been having conversations with all political actors on our side, even PFF people, ANT.
FDC.
We have not had conversations with NRM people, because the NRM people are having conversations with the DP and other groups. So, and I think Mao summarized that now there are 2 groups. There is a group of NRM, DP, and the other actors. But we have been having conversations, because it is important that as people who are interested in seeing a new trajectory in the affairs of our country, that we have conversations. And it also goes a long way to confirm that we are never opposed to the idea of principled and transparent conversations with people that do not belong to our political party.
Let me get Honorable Dombo to close this out. You know, interesting things are emerging in this election, Honorable Dombo. First of all, Mao is now standing for MP, not presidential candidate.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be presidential candidate. Then if NUP is approaching UPC, but the principal of UPC, Jamie Akena, is also with NRM. So how does it, what will it be like going forward?
When NRM came to power, there is one fundamental thing that was introduced in Uganda. The people, especially those in leadership, President Museveni formed a broad-based government. And because of the broad base, progressively, people have found it better to work together, even when there are areas of disagreement, but Uganda becomes the ultimate that we are all working and building. So people discussing and going ahead to have discussions is something that is very good, and I want to thank my brother for their application to join the iPod. If they had done that earlier, perhaps the question you're asking wouldn't have arisen, because we would have known that we were meeting in iPod. But now that they have made the application, they will get us there, and we shall have discussions on how best we can improve the governance of this country. The most exciting thing which is being talked about in Lango and the Lira town is that Honorable Chagulanyi drove on a brand new road to go to Akokoro to meet the President General of UPC, or the President of UPC, and they were mesmerized at the level of development and transformation that is taking place in the north. So to us, as this election cycle has enabled the people who have not been going outside Kampala to go and appreciate the transformation that NRM is doing to many areas, including that one which has happened.
Oscar, can I just give him information?
Very quickly,
an example that I love to use.
Honorable Mbide, yes, I can ask the same question.
Yes. The Honorable Domba and his team love to talk about the roads. But in 1944, my late mother was born on a train wagon. The mother was traveling from Kasese to Tororo. The Westerners used to call it Bukedi area. Now, my children can only see a train on TV, but he's talking about the mesmerizing development projects that have happened.
I can tell you, Katana, by independence, Uganda had only 855 kilometers of roads.
With 4 million people.
Yes, wait, but
Yes.
the geography remained the same.
I don't know, the
The size of the country.
The per capita is very important.
The geography remained the same. People had to
See,
move from
Biaranga,
Arua
you need to get
Kampala.
serious.
They are 1 million.
My parents went to Chazanga 1964. They were animals.
Listen.
I was in Masaka
But
Secondary School.
if you were in
After
Arua-
Liantonde, you meet a park.
If you were in Arua,
So you wanted the roads
Wait,
in the mountains where there are no
if
people.
If you were in Arua and you wanted to come, you had to come to Kampala. The geography has not changed.
The population has changed.
Yes, that's true.
There were no
The geography-
settlements.
So
you wanted the roads
meaning
leading
that
to
people
nowhere.
spent above-
The revenue has increased
meaning that people spent
because the
above-
number of people has also
Are you
increased.
saying?
Welcome to
We
Ghana.
can look at the Tamaka per
Honorable
capita.
Mbide.
Yes.
You can look at it.
Hey.
You can look at it.
Today
Well,
we are 50 million people.
Welcome to Gang, Honorable Mbide.
Thank you.
I take it you're a little bit late because you are from Masaka.
Buwekula actually.
Buwekula.
And of course, I cannot guarantee that I have used the best road
You cannot guarantee that you have used the best road to get here.
to get here. So of course we are all choosing to be extremely eloquent and technical as the doctors do on a post-mortem. The interest in a post-mortem is
Who has
usually
died.
minimized. People are usually interested in saving the lives of usually the subject of the post-mortem. If it were not actually material, I think most mourners are not interested in the post-mortem, except if it is alleged that the death has not been as what they usually dub natural. It should be unnatural for anyone to die, by the way, except if you are above. It should be, I'm saying. It is, but it should be. Scientists and governments have developed what they call life expectancy numbers. usually as a defense for their failure to definitely establish very good health systems. Now, for us on the opposition, I have heard what all our colleagues have been saying. Of course, we are speaking at a wrong period of time. Whatever we are doing now is a post-mortem. These are debates we should have held long ago that would otherwise precede an exercise of this nature.
Well, we tried. But let me, I've delayed going to the break for just a few minutes, just to squeeze you in here. So your nomination, I saw on social media, it went very well. Congratulations.
Thank you, my brother.
Yes.
In Buekula.
Moses is asking the correct question.
Okay.
So were you nominated for DP or for
yes, on a
DP Block
ticket.
1, DP Block 2, or for NRM?
Those ones are not DP Block, are not legal entities.
But yeah, the yellow sticker.
It was at the corner.
The yellow sticker was
But
at
the main
corner.
sticker was green. So Oscar, you will not allow Benjamin to disturb me.
But and then your party president is not standing for president, he's standing for MP.
We actually chose for him. I can this one guarantee. As a party, we thought we did not have the best way forward. There is no way we would deliver a cabinet minister to the population, telling them that this one is better than his master. There is no way.
His master.
Yeah, there is no way we would. For us, we choose to speak frankly.
On that note, we shall go for a break. We'll come back from the break. This is the Capitalgang. Honorable Mbide is the one who brought a bit of excitement on gang. But Dr. Obuku tells you that post-mortem is very important and is crucial to understand the cause of death. And he's saying, why is Ndugu Dombo now recognizing PPR Kenya as UPC president when his very government refused to do so via its electoral commission?
Can I brought this to himself?
Yes.
Yeah, because you see, the first time courts of law pronounced themselves that Akena is not a legitimate UPC leader, the NRMs helped him. So that's why when they removed the help now, he had to collapse. He ought to have corrected those problems at that stage. You remember how Kayihura went to chairman of electoral commission to order that administratively now the group in charge of UPC is Akena. I had friends who didn't know what to do because Kota had said he's not a UPC leader. Electoral Commission issued a press statement saying for them they're going to work with Akena. So the moment you allow those things, they will catch up with you at one stage.
Eventually.
Yes.
Okay, Nora Waraga tells you, Honorable Mbide, I do not believe that the decision of party heads represents the decision of their party members. We are yet to hear that there was a resolution from, say, UPC or DP, for example, where they resolved to campaign for Museveni. And the message goes in. I'll tag you in. You've missed out on comments on the nominations, so are you done? I want us to go to the NRM Manifesto for now.
Yes, practically, I would also tell that listener that, of course, parties follow the law. And the law is usually the law on political parties, practically. Of course, administratively now hinges closely to the constitutions of such parties. For example, our constitution, Article 27, gives the party president the position of chief spokesperson with the ability and the sagacity to make any statements, but with a disclaimer that such statements can actually be overturned or ratified in a meeting of any other next executive committee. So clearly, when the president makes a statement, it becomes an embodiment until, of course, it is addressed by the political party. Most of our players, though, choose to play outside the Democratic Party box. They don't get elected to positions of authority within the party. And accordingly, each time the party sits, somebody is a huge member of parliament but is not a member of the National Executive Committee. And you find that he begins vending opinions that are actually anti-party to the extent that he gets lost. Most of them have actually gotten lost they started vending opinions of other political parties, to the extent that when those political parties arrived at their own party cards, now they are seemingly lost. Most of them are carrying symbols, others a snake, a hole. You see, because now they are lost. Our symbol is a hole. How are you going to market such symbols, new symbols to your population?
A symbol of a snake?
Yeah, you see.
I didn't know that one now. Anyway, and Sengoba tells you, Honorable Dombo, that Chagulanyi traveled in a road built using taxpayers' money. 1986 to 2025, the NRM government has since claimed to have added over 5,200 kilometers of new tarmac roads, meaning that every year they have tarmacked 133.4 kilometers only, which takes us to Moses Biaruhanga on the manifesto of NRM. I've shared some highlights here.
But before the manifesto, you see, Semujuya was saying that where the NRM is less in terms of support, there are fewer political offices in terms of MPs and so forth. But he forgets that when these constituencies are being created, NRM had the majority in some of these places, that notwithstanding. And even for look at any area like Karamoja. Yes, Karamoja has more MPs than Wakiso. Wakiso has a bigger population, but Karamoja also has a bigger geography. In terms of geography, you cannot compare. I don't know how many Wakisos can fit into Karamoja. So if we were to go by maybe population density, you have an MP traversing like from here to Masaka, just being one constituency. So you have to look at different scenarios. Yes, population, geography, other historical issues. Like the IK, they look small.
Total population 8,000.
Yes, but they also need representation in terms of, that's why we have had some of these constituencies created here. There was a time we were creating constituencies even within Uganda, and there was a whole of Poraburu from Mengo saying don't touch Uganda. So what do? We kept quiet.
No, so
it was there.
So
I've been here for some time.
What did they say?
2026 to 2031.
Question of districts.
So in terms of when we go districts and sub-counties, say don't touch here. We said okay. Now you're quarreling.
2026.
We're just giving you the right figures.
We listen to the voters.
2031.
Now, but also
protecting the gains.
But before protecting the gains,
as we leap into the high middle income status.
And the professor here was talking about here in Uganda. Blah, blah. You see, when you look at the population in Uganda, you're saying no.
You said Bora Bora.
When he's around Uganda, you will fear the people here can feel that they want, instead of winning the vote, probably they could use the other means of force. In a democracy we have created here, which is part of the gains. People know that you change the government by vote.
By shooting at the population.
And when you are also looking at the country, can't say, okay, somebody was saying, the councillors, those ones represent so few people. But see, if you look at population and voter distribution in Uganda, I can show you, Eastern Uganda, for instance, has 5.3 million voters. Western Uganda has 5.4 million voters. Northern Uganda has 3.8 million voters. All those are represented. Uganda has 6.8 million voters. Out of that, 3 million are within Kampala and Wakiso. And your fear? 1 million voters. No, but you know the register. I said the voters.
Moses, how are you going to protect those gains?
So, what I'm talking about is, you see, the way if I got Professor correct, it was like, you and the same way you were saying, here, where there are bigger population density, you have less political offices. So when I was talking about the councillors who have been nominated to represent NRM, most of these parties don't have those councillors. It was the councillors don't matter. What the professor was saying, what matters is winning the presidential. If you win the presidential, others will change. The law cannot change until the last year of the term. But even that cannot. You see, what makes you win partly, say in Kisoro, those councillors you are underrating, they campaign for themselves and for the presidential candidate. The reason why you're going to lose there, you can say, me, after all, I have a presidential candidate. I have not have councillor candidates everywhere in the country. That alone is a weakness on any presidential candidate who doesn't have such an infrastructure in terms of campaign.
You've made the point. Protecting the gains. As we leap into, his microphone is not on, protecting the gains as we leap into high middle income status.
Yes.
So a lot of people are asking what gains?
Oh, a lot. In every sector. If you start with the economy of Uganda today is doing much better than it has ever done before. In many years in the past, Uganda, like now in the last financial year, Uganda's exports was $10.3 billion, which we have never achieved before. Out of that, we can say export of, say, manufactured goods alone was about $2.5 billion. Now, you can imagine many years ago, Uganda...
Manufactured goods to where? Where are we exporting?
We're exporting manufactured goods across the region. In Congo, in South Sudan, in Rwanda, in
manufactured
Kenya.
goods?
Yes. You check.
Cement, sugar, milk
are being exported. And these are same goods.
Soda, beer.
Many years ago were all
gold and
imported. No. Forget about gold. Just manufactured goods. Gold is not manufactured to those levels. Now, if you come to the structure, the undersides of the economy alone, we have been able to double the economy. Today, our economy is $61 billion. By end of this financial year, it will be $66.1 billion, having grown from $3.9 billion in 1986. So all these are the gains we are protecting. If you go across the sectors, we talk about roads here. You talk about roads. By 1986, we had 1,000 kilometers of bad roads. Then, today we are talking of 6,300 kilometers of good roads, of tarmac roads, notwithstanding that about 1,300 roads are under construction already. So by the time we finish even this financial year, we have gone about 7,600 kilometers of tarmac roads in Uganda. That's why I was looking at photos when the president was in the north. Oh, most of those roads leading from one district to another are all tarmac roads, good tarmac roads. Go in the water sector. I was the other day. Today, 81% of the villages in Uganda, each has access to a clean water source. It used to be so low in the past. If you look at education, if you look at health services, if you look at all these sectors, we are talking of better.
When we don't have water in Chigo, I'm about to ban anyone talking about water.
Well, the water in Chigo, that's what we can find out from National Water and Sewage Corporation. It could be issue of pipes and so on and so forth. What I know, what has been happening at the National Water and Sewage Corporation, because of population density going up within Kampala and Wakiso, there was an issue of pressure and so forth, but they are putting out a big reservoir here within Kawempe to increase the pressure and the water services within Kampala Wakiso region. That's all ongoing works, and it will be completed soon. But if you look at electricity, both generation and expansion, today only 2 districts in Uganda are not yet connected to the national grid. That is Buvuma and Obonji. Where you go to the districts, they are talking about electricity at least being connected to all the sub-counties. And in many of the sub-counties, you find that the districts are, say, 26 sub-counties, maybe 20 or 19 of them are already connected to electricity, to the national grid. If you look at generation itself, by 1986, Uganda was generating 60 megawatts of electricity, while installed capacity then was 150 megawatts. Today we are generating 2,052 megawatts of electricity. All that, all those are gains. If you go,
those are gains.
If you go like in education, today in primary schools we have 12,549 primary schools in the country. Against
and teachers are striking.
And so many teachers. Today we have 147,000 teachers in primary school alone. The issue of strike, those are being sorted out. issue of salary payments and so forth, because salary comes from revenue generated. You're not generating enough revenue, or the revenue, or there are so many demands on the revenue. Our line has been, our line has been, we shall progressively, and we have done so, improve on the welfare and salaries of all public servants. We have been doing it progressively. Almost every year there is some incremental salaries to the public servants, especially the lower cadres.
You can sound contradictory if you're saying teachers don't have money because there's no money. And
no, I said we
have
have
gains that we are protecting.
Progressive. You see, where do you get salaries? Salaries are got from tax revenue, and our line has been expand the areas of tax revenue. Like now, when we are doing more on manufacturing, expanding manufacturing. When you expand manufacturing, when you invest in PDM, people don't rate how PDM affects for the economy. I've heard the new president saying that they're going to abolish PDM. Oh, that would be very unfortunate. We have so far spent about 3.4 trillion shillings in Uganda on PDM, benefiting about 3.4 million households. Yesterday I was checking figures in Acholi. In Acholi sub-region alone, we have reached 45% of the households in Acholi under PDM. Under PDM.
Because I highlighted here the previous manifesto and what you're promising as well, and I like that you picked up on PDM. You spent 350 billion with people benefiting. What is the definition of benefiting?
See, the beneficiary households, those who receive the money and invest it in whatever activity they are doing.
So when are you going to profile the investments that they have made from PDM? Because you know the expenditure, you know the households that have received. Now, when will you highlight the impact? When you tell us that using this money, Uganda was able to do this?
You see, during the recent tour, when the president was touring in the country, he was meeting. First of all, some of you, it was public knowledge. It was videos and so forth. People were saying, "Oh, the president is spending so much money to go and see only one person." So that was profiling, and it is there. Fine, it's good to talk about pigs. People who have invested in piggery. I went to Luwero some time back, in 2023, met somebody who said he received 1 million shillings. He bought 5 pigs. At the time I had visited them, because they were meeting PDM beneficiaries in the sub-county of Ruwero, he had 5 million on his account after having sold like twice. And so who said there was 1 million, he was saying it has 5 million.
So at some point you profile all those people and say this is what PDM has done.
They are there. Even here in Kampala, I can take you to some of them.
You should. You had one person here with a forged receipt.
You don't want to go away.
You talked about it a lot.
No,
so now you need also to talk a lot about PDM beneficiaries.
I can take you to Kampala.
Yes.
Here, not very far. Even today after the show.
Well, maybe not today, but
any other day you are free. To some of the beneficiaries in Kampala, and because those are near you, so that you see them.
I'll be free and I'll escort you to see them.
So how is PDM?
Because the way you describe that receipt, the forged one, I also want you to describe beneficiaries of PDM.
The beneficiaries are, you can go and see. Chemuzu is here, is an MP.
They are not there.
Definitely, I can show them.
That's why when the president visited, you assembled the children who are washing vehicles, gave them money.
No, those were
you
not
see, the tours of Museveni are very interesting.
I was there myself.
He carries money to the beneficiaries.
I was there myself.
I thought they have made the money themselves.
Let Moses finish.
In Ikira,
yes. I have your microphone on, Moses. Moses.
Yeah.
Lives have not changed completely.
Many have changed. You see, how does PDM impact on this? You see, like those people, like the person I told you, who said he had started with 1 million, he now had the 5 million.
That one is in Ruwero.
In Ruwero, and I mean across the country. Now, these people, you are going to get one PDM project almost employs 2 people. Employs like 2 people. Other people are employed by that project. When they are earning money, they spend on expenditure. So if you are going to see the impact of new PDM on the rest of the economy, is the sales. When we were writing our manifesto, I talked to the chairperson of Uganda Manufacturers Association. He said their utilization capacity utilization of their factories, on average, it's about 60%. Agasekalala, you can check with him. And what he put it even in writing. So, so basically we are saying you need a bigger market for them to be able to utilize more of their capacity. And what does that mean? When the person in some constituency receives the PDM money, invests in what they have invested in, earns income, and they spend that money buying different items, they are on their way improving on the economy. They are on the way creating more jobs for the factories of the Agasekalalas who are selling to them their goods. So and the country benefits through taxation when those commodities are being bought. There is a VAT on them, and then that's why you get more money to spend on roads, on education, on health, and so forth. Okay. So PDM for us is a very good project. We have so far reached about 3.5 million households. We are going to continue with it. Here in the urban areas of Kampala and Wakiso, we have said in our manifesto, instead of giving them 100 million per year, we are going to be giving them 300 million so that we reach out to more people because of population density, Semujo has been talking about. We are going also to expand it and put a fund for the leaders, about 15 million per year, so that the leaders can also have money to borrow from. We are also going to create the one for the school leavers, university leavers, who have even the clergy. They have approached us. We are going to have also a fund for religious leaders, so that they can. Many of them at the lower
teachers,
level.
we have also approached them.
At the lower levels of religious leaders. Like, for instance, imams in mosques, they don't get a salary. Many of them we have been talking to them, have been engaging them. The other 2 weeks ago, I was meeting imams in Kiboga. About 3 months ago, I met imams in Gomba. They tell you that for us, we don't earn a salary. We would want to do a business, but we don't want to borrow from the government systems because they have riba, what they call interest. We said, okay, we shall create a fund for you which is run along Islamic principles of funding.
Moses, I want you to first pause a bit and others talk about. Just finish with that last sentence.
So for us on wealth creation, we're going to continue with PDM and enrich so that we reach all the houses supposed to be reached.
Okay, as you have said, for me, I'll visit with you.
I'll
visit beneficiaries
in Kampala.
Of course, in Kampala. Yeah. Even in Chigo, I'll ask if we have.
Fine. They are there.
Okay.
Chigo is in Wakiso.
In Wakiso, yes.
In Wakiso. Just tell me the parish.
Yeah,
the parish.
I will do that.
Yeah.
Honorable Dombo, just two before, keep it with NRM side before I go to the other side. The tool that I'm putting to you says in 2021 to 2026, I sent you the summary. It says number 3 says protecting the life and property of all human lives. That is in 2021-2026. Then in 2026-2031 says human development. Okay. Then 2021 to 2026, ensuring justice and equity. So what would you say about those in this era now of people complaining about kidnaps and so on and so forth that are nearly becoming rampant?
When you look at the previous manifesto, one of the major complaints was the backlog in the courts. And when you get to the commercial side, a lot of money is held up because of unarbitrated cases which are in court, and a lot of capital has been caught up. Now, in order to enhance justice, Parliament came up to give more money to the judiciary, and the judiciary has been able to recruit a number of magistrates and judges. They are also going ahead to decentralize the Constitutional Court so that it is built at regional level in order to extend justice. And because of this, once justice delayed is justice denied. And once you enhance justice and equity, then you enhance good governance. So this is one area where we have worked so well, and even they have constructed the courts in the country, and also enhanced, given hope to the judicial officers that now the judiciary or the bench is attracting people from the private sector to join the bench in order to give good service in that area. This is something that has been done, and the members. I want to thank the members of Parliament who have been key in implementing this the NRM Manifesto and ensuring that the things that we planned for have been brought to the fore. But finally, I was at the campaign trail in northern Uganda, and in every area where the president has been, he has invited beneficiaries of PDM or those from the skilling sector. When you listen to the confession of the young people, what they have done, and the products, some of them, one of them in Pajule, when we were in Pajule in Pader, a young man came with about 10 pairs of shoes that he had made. He had offered to sell to the president all of them, and the president only bought one, although very expensively. And the young man went celebrating. But when you listen to the population after the president has gone, during the interaction with the population, right now people are going to go for skilling because the North suffered a lot of disadvantage because many children grew up in camps, but also many have been disadvantaged, those who have been chased out of school because of the school fees. 3, the skilling. Now, giving skills to people. There are many young people who have graduated out of school with degrees in various disciplines, who are going back to acquire skills so that they can be able to do something with their own hands. So this is something that has helped the human development of the population, but also that has improved the equity and rule of law, but also creating justice within the population.
Before we stop for a break, just a quick one. 2 lawyers in the studio now, Katana and Bide. When you say Kota, my friend, a new judge. I beg your pardon?
The most senior.
The most senior. This one you may not need to speak, but I saw a judgment very recently, and I'll call up this friend of mine. He says people can disappear themselves. So it is now written in a judgment. But
at least during the days of State Research Bureau, there were no such judgments. But now there are disappearances, but there are also judgments to accompany the disappearances. I want to call him next week and we talk about how you can disappear yourself. But Professor Yagolova says Moses Byarahanga was very impressive on the number of nominees each political party has for various electoral positions. On the impact of PDM, he has really struggled to demonstrate what the good project has done in terms of changing the lives of beneficiaries. Whoever researched the nomination figures should also research PDM for him. Welcome back from the break. This is the Capitalgang. We're discussing NRM Manifesto. I'm pleased there's so much interest on social media and wherever. Kahunga Masiko, regular listener, says by June 2026, every 16 Ugandans will be having one elected and salaried leader, the most governed country in the world. But sinking back to the HIPC club, national debt soaring, AIDS jubilating, poverty digging in deeper, unemployment rising, and that horrible accident. Honorable Mbide, we start with you, with Buwekula. What gains are you going to protect in Buwekula? I have also shared with you
for me, the biggest gain
of the gains
is going to be the ability.
Oscar, for the benefit of the listeners, how is Mbide the part of protecting the gains?
NRM is ruling party, and we are discussing their manifesto. It's like a literature study.
I support the candidate. So let me tell you, the freedom to speak frankly is part of the gains that I am going to have protected in Buwekula. And frankly speaking, in Buwekula, government took a sabbatical leave. There is no evidence of presence.
There is no gain to protect.
Undermining his manifesto.
No, for me, I speak frankly. The manifesto is better. What the current affairs is the worst. So my support is based on the ability of my candidate to correct the wrongs, and of course it is also based on his ability to establish the freedom for me to speak frankly, even against him. So for me, that is what I am doing. I know that if I was around during a minute's time, probably I wouldn't speak like this and safely go home. But that is something that we should stop celebrating. When you speak, who hears? And when they hear, what do they do? Buwekula is a kind of a region where you find a multiplicity of human beings dismissed from their land simply because they don't have land titles. In the total disregard of the presence of the Land Amendment Act 2010, which gives this almost similar powers to Chibanja holders as those, of course, born to a person with registered interests. It is disheartening because this is a condition that cannot be guided by market forces. It is a condition that should be governed by the law, and of course, those that are given the power to govern should be in a position to tell. In Buwekula, I have seen, you cannot tell the difference between land grabbers and those established in the region to lead for government. I have got people who are in prison.
Hold on, land grabbers.
And
the leaders.
And the leaders.
Difficult to see the
They
difference.
have established a cartel that is against and completely antagonistic to the population. Incidentally, this is a population that is almost 80% in government support. They support the ruling government. But LOC systems now no longer work in terms of land. Because I have seen LOCs all imprisoned for 8 years, 5 years, 7 years, simply because they were beginning to arbitrate on land over land matters. Where a land grabber that has executed a land purchase agreement from Kampala has had a land, registered interests transferred into his name, and simply land is on the ground with the sole intent and the purpose of, first of all, of establishing, of course, the length and width of this land, dismissing everybody, all and sundry that are on land, by the way. There are people of Chirwanyi, people of Biharwe, people are crying. When they heard me speak about these things, they thought I'm an angel. They expected that I was going to be arrested in the next 10 minutes. They saw nobody arrested me. They said, but how have you done it? We have companies taking over land and putting their leaders, the leaders of the area, on a payroll, simply because they must be paying for their silence as stuff is going on. We know the country is running a torrent system of land administration. As lawyers, we know, we imported it from Australia. But where you have registered interests, it must also be understood that there are those interests that existed even before its arrival here in Uganda.
I want a physical copy of your manifesto.
So for me, Oscar,
I can send it to you.
matters to do with the land. And you see, these leaders have also, and I am going to discuss with Moses even after here, because I'm going to give him a list of leaders that are actually a big problem. They are completely antagonistic. When they come to Kampala here, of course, you need to arrest them. I can tell you, these people think they are leaders. They don't even elect these leaders. These leaders have generated a cartel that has the capacity even to determine an election result. So the aftermath of an election that they called NRM primaries, I would like you to come on ground, Moses. I will make sure I invite all the NRM leaders and you get first-hand information of what the population really are talking about. It is completely the opposite of what their leaders indicate. I have found
what Moses is saying here.
What he's saying here, completely antagonistic and different.
But you're protecting the game.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. So, thank you.
At all times.
Just a quick sentence.
Professor,
I'm confused.
of course it is there.
You're confusing.
No, I am not confusing. I'm factual. The country is confusing.
But you're saying you're
No, but
supporting the man who has decided all of that.
Yusuf, hold on.
I am representing the country as confused as it is. You carry this one as a factual. It is a factual. So I have told you I am utilizing the simple gain of being allowed to do this.
Okay.
For me, that is what I am. It is the overriding necessity that I am actually trying to come up with. So, Moses, I am telling you, we cannot be here and begin a frolicsome exercise of indicating normacy where it doesn't exist. We have got leaders that are actually misleaders. And I have got a full record of these people. And the country and the government needs to take stock. What you see as development is almost just organic development. Chemeza, people are doing their work without necessarily having a lot of intervention from government. In fact, against what they are only, because when all powers belong to the people is enshrined in the Constitution, the meaning is that it exists between now and 15th of January.
Thank you.
They will hand it over to those that will exercise
it.
Yes.
Benjamin Katana here in his area. We have Taremwa Peter, says on Wednesday last week I was coming from Revisengo in Toroko district. I saw a man fetching water from a seasoned river. I don't know what a seasoned river looks like. And I pitied this government boasting about water connectivity. Water by the sea.
Just here in Bujuko. Bujuko is on Michana Road. It's about 15 minutes from
the says, thank you, Moses, for
roundabout. They don't have piped water.
Elaborate and on point by giving facts and figures. Honorable Semuji is beginning to appreciate the NRM Manifesto. Maybe that's why he's asked for it. Daddy Reynolds on X says Oscar also banned him from talking about electricity and so on and so forth. So in your village, Benjamin Katana,
but this
are you going to
Chira? So are you to which village?
No, his village. Chira
but even in Chira now there's no water. So
in your village, PDM and other things, what are you going to protect? What gains do you have there for protection?
Well, I think development generally cannot be looked at only in terms of figures, but also in terms of what is pertaining on the ground. When you look at the quality of life of citizens,
I want you to talk about the vis-a-vis the NRM Manifesto. Remember, next week I'm going to start on the NUP Manifesto.
And of course we are talking about, and I may not restrict it to my village, because my village may not be a representation of what half of Uganda is. Because when you look at, and I mentioned that in this country, one of the biggest challenges that we have is the citizens that grow up in some parts of the country and the citizens that grow up in other different parts of the country. Their outlook of what Uganda is may not be well aligned. Because a child who has grown up, for example, from my village, may not know that people in Uganda still live in a grass-thatched house. I come from Bushenyi. But also the foundation of the development in Bushenyi is not grounded in the NRM government. The NRM government found Bushenyi already on the way to where it is today.
It was a UPC stronghold.
Yes. Yeah, so they cannot claim that where we are is largely on account of the NRM. When you look at one, you are talking about the PDM, and I think he misrepresented us. Our point is about how it can be realigned to be a state program, not a politicized program. I think one of the challenges of that we have today is politicization of the state and the development agenda. That's why you have the head of state is the one monitoring the implementation. The joke about taking pictures with one pig and one goat is because it is not looked at as an economic initiative that is aimed to uplift the lives of people, but an initiative that is supposed to just earn political credit. That is why today they are talking about PDM, because it is the 2021 to 2026, it is something they must sell to give some population hope. Yeah. But if you ask for the gains of Bonawa Gagaware, they are not traceable.
I can trace them for you.
if you ask for the benefits from the other initiatives that we have had, they are not traceable. Why? Because these are introduced in every term. The intention is what you would call chigumaza. Give the wananchi hope, do some politics around it. But when you come back to count what has been invested in this project and what has been recouped, you realize that the gap is very wide. In terms of, if you talk about education, for example, they are talking about education, but 68% of the children who start P1 don't finish P7. I don't think that, and by government's own admission, I watched a clip where the head of state was giving statistics on how the education is performing UPE and USE. But also, if you look at an ordinary person sells their land in the village, they send their child to school, the child finishes university, they sell the remaining piece of the land to send that child to work in Oman as a guard or a maid. The citizens who belong in this category have no gains to celebrate. Because, like someone mentioned, they should be celebrating pain.
Dombo told us they send money back.
Educating a child is not a celebration.
You are not educating them. You are just taking them through a process that does not prepare them for the challenges of the day.
Final sentence on that one, Benjamin, and
yes,
to go to Semuju.
The final sentence is that there are no gains to celebrate. Maybe at individual, if people are looking at it, the ones that are counting it at the individual level, but collectively as a country and as a community, we have no gains to celebrate.
Okay. Honorable Semuju.
Mr. Katana, he should have known that one time President Museveni asked that in order to build good political parties, we must build parties that can either generate or are funded by government. Now, when the government decides to provide money for funding parties, when Nupu applied to join the iPod, this is a gain which Nupu is struggling to join, and that must be supported.
He must vulgarize every debate.
Oscar, where politics,
yes,
where politics gets bad. Dombo was in Parliament when the Law on Political Parties and Organizations Act was enacted. The people on the Committee on Legal, Wacha, Wandere Ogalo, are the ones who made that proposal because there was a limitation on how much money you can raise from outside. It was never Museveni's idea.
So,
but let me go to the issues.
Yes.
Biarohanga Moses, in an economics class, he will get A+.
And I always go
because he has picked these figures and is able to repeat them. If you're going to look at Uganda's export, we are smuggling gold from Congo,
Not true.
which we export through the world airport.
Not true.
We now have about $4 billion we realize from that gold that we are helping Congolese to sell, because the Eastern Congo is not allowed to sell gold. They are trafficking their gold through Uganda, through Tanzania, and through Rwanda, but they carry all the money back. That's why we are hungry. You run a budget, a deficit budget. This country of yours that is growing. Look, this financial year you presented a budget of 72 trillion. 32 trillion is going to be borrowed. You are borrowing from foreign banks. We have about 26 commercial banks. 24 of them are foreign owned. This financial year alone, Oscar, in this budget of 72 trillion, these banks are going to carry 9 trillion interest that they are carrying back to South Africa and England. You run a telecommunication sector that is all foreign owned. All the money, the point that Katana made here, the figures are very impressive, very good, but the money is taken back to the owners. So for us, we just see banks here in Uganda, but all the money they are making, and that's why even Ugandans now are borrowing from outside. So the figures and the economy maybe if you're going to go, because you see, if you have distributed money, you'll have some people celebrating. even the PDM you're talking about itself, Yarohanga, if you look at the figures, formal figures presented by government, people who have received, because NRM likes celebrating a recipient, people who have received PDM money out of the 3.5 household, it is 800,000, and each household you are counting one person. Those are not figures that would have changed the country in 3 years. It is not possible. But you begin, so you are celebrating the distribution, not the change in life. That's why when Oscar asked you, you said, I will take you. If people's lives have changed, must Yarohanga be the one to carry me to see the change? So you are celebrating the distribution of money. You are not celebrating. You're not celebrating the what the money has done. Oscar.
Look at the. This assumes that it's only NRM people who go to the villages. All of us have villages we come from. We go to.
Go on, Semuju.
You just have to look at the structure of the economy, and I've said this many times when you're debating budget. The recent Bank of Uganda report on financial capability. The Bank of Uganda told you, in the whole country, you have 2.7 million people who own bank accounts. And of those who earn $1 million and above are 1%. Majority of people whose figures you now present to the country earn below 150. I have many of them in my constituents. They work to Azam, work to all other factories, and a day they earn 5,000. But Yarohanga will aggregate them and he will tell you, your own figures. Look, you have by the labor policy of 2011 between 14 and 64%. I mean between 14 and 64 age. That's supposed to be the labor force in Uganda. Only 9 million are working, but of those who are working in those small factories. So 14 million people are not working. You have youth aged between 18 and 30, 10 million. 5.2 are neither in school nor in employment. They are in trading centers discussing arsenal. You've not been able to provide for them what you have done as a policy, which you want, which you now want us to celebrate, is clustering them into gangs, ghetto, so that they go and beat people and steal their phones. So countries, Yarohanga, don't celebrate it, because you see, even a street child will grow. And then someone will claim that that child is growing because of me. So maybe sometimes you'll even grow better than those who are under care. So what the NRM has done, and I have said this many times, every government has made a contribution. You don't judge success against the worst, because that's what they do. Look at electricity, which you were speaking about earlier. Only 21% in Uganda, the population, only 21% have access to electricity just for lighting. Majority of the country we don't use it, just 21%. They are the ones who use it for lighting. Solar power is about 25%. Yeah. So the investment we made in the energy sector was not for lighting bedrooms. Was an investment on borrowed money, which was supposed to help people do business and so on and so forth. If you can allow me, yeah, because you gave Moses a lot of time.
It was his manifesto.
So but the manifesto is not Moses' manifesto.
We are going to continue the discussion, but for now you have to present it. Yusuf.
So Oscar, a comment came in here on an earlier conversation that from a lawyer called Peter Magela. They sued government for creating constituencies without following the law. Article 63 requires that constituencies should be created based on the population quotas, and they should be based on national census. So court has set next week 27th to make a decision on this. So the point that Semju was making earlier is 120% valid.
So Oscar, a court ruling?
Oscar
is coming next week.
Oscar. Well, you know, one of the things that
we are really out of time, Yusuf. Don't get distracted. Speak to the microphone.
You know, I think Museveni sold this Yarohanga as a rodeo. There is no way I could be 40 years in power and I don't have an ally of mine in big money, owning a bank, maybe owning a telecom, maybe owning a major mining corporation. These people are happy to receive commissions.
We have coffee in Tonga.
No, but that coffee machine thrives on government taxpayers' money. 70% of our coffee is sold
we have
by
mega yogurt today.
these people are as poor as all of us. If you took them away from government, they'll fall on bad times. This man giving us coffee is as broke as us. The difference is that he is close to power. Oscar, how do you govern a country of 40 years and you don't have any of your friends in big money? You see, the day we read our national budget, we are reading their profits and their deals and their cuts, commissions. That Museveni's closest allies are content to receive commissions, and they are protecting the gains. Basically, they are looking towards the next commission. And as Samju said, the big money is taken out of the country. So 70% of our coffee is sold by corporations, and they keep all the money outside. You see, when they say, for example, on the Ugandan books, that we made 1.6 trillion Uganda shillings out of coffee, 7% of that money didn't come back to Uganda. 8%. Because that money, the sellers, the profit makers were foreigners. And that's where we are. We're protecting the gains. Oscar, some you gave Birhanga, I think 80% in economics. I would give him a 0. Because
but the theory you can present the way it is. Doesn't matter whether you understood or not.
You are.
Because
as long as you can
Oscar,
relate it.
countries don't grow. Countries don't grow. Countries don't grow by giving handouts to their nationals. I don't know of a country which has given out handouts.
In an emergency,
He's going to tell you.
Don't talk about bailouts. By giving handouts to their nations, countries grow by creating an environment that enables people to thrive. The people here borrow at 40% interest rate. I've seen stories, and NTV has done a wonderful job. I've seen stories where Bank of Uganda is actually helping the commercial banks to take people's property, having borrowed at 40% interest rate. How do you make money when you borrow from 40% interest?
40% interest where?
In this country. No, from banks.
Maybe.
From banks too.
No. No bank can give you 40%.
No. You check it out.
Banks are
Oscar,
not there.
Oscar, I'm not making this up.
the banks cannot.
They are not there.
No, look,
But-
Bank of Uganda.
But I know that one. It isn't there. But gentlemen,
Oscar, let me finish.
Let
Let me finish. Oscar, this man spoke for
Moses.
control this man.
We've challenged him.
Control this man. Oscar, when I want to build the point of cooperatives.
But there's no time to build it because it's 12 midday.
No.
So very quickly.
No, the point of PDM really bothers me that, you see, it's not just a political intervention, but it's a platform to enable others to eat.
It is a chigumas.
Because the same government which killed cooperatives which were self-sustaining then turns around and says we'll give you handouts, because you see people are organizing themselves in small groups.
Correct.
And collecting money.
Yusuf, we've run out of time. It's midday. We've had a few more minutes to just conclude.
Oscar, just one point.
Your final minute starting now. It's like 1 minute.
Just to protect the pains of the game. You see, when you look,
there's more time to discuss. These politicians are going to go out, then you'll come back.
Oscar,
don't finish everything.
Oscar,
today.
when you look at our leagues, the people that we play with in terms of growth, we're in the bracket of Somalia, South Sudan, Malawi, in the region.
Okay,
those are our buddies.
Honorable Mkasambide, your minute is now.
Yes. First of all, when you look at the policies generated.
By the way, I have a poem here from Sam Zinunula. It says, "Sometimes I feel stupid. I no longer know what to make of statistical reports. What I know is that growing up, we had 3 village wells. We went and got water. We took coffee to the circle and so on. Not circle, but whatever." That's him. Jimmy Akena also says that road Moses is talking about. Look at paragraph 4.2 in the budget speech of 1997. The feasibility studies of those roads were done while others were in the bush, according to Minister Chienga. So 38 years later, they are doing the road.
Yeah, the World Bank Partnership for Economic Inclusion has equally produced a report and then continue to support governments to put and inject real money into the population. It has come up with a What they have said,
Honorable Dombo, your minute is coming up.
yes, what they have actually said is that a single program is not even enough. They have identified that poverty itself, while I am, you look
only
at
have a
all,
minute.
you look at all
Please
procedures,
continue. If
quantitative
you respond to
easing
him, your
and all
minute
of that,
will go away.
and most of them actually refer to actual money, because you have to create a volume of transactions right from village level up to the top, and that is what ultimately transmits into the overall GDP. They have identified that poverty itself creates a regime or an assemblage in terms of how it attacks the population. There is poverty because students go up to university without work, so there is academic-related poverty. There is gender-related poverty. So they are saying a lot of programs, a multiplicity of programs should each be engineered in accordance to how the poverty accessed the population. So
And
that
Serum
one
Kuma says
is
that should be
serious
a Ugandan
economic
saying
policy,
those things.
and the
Honorable
countries
Semuju,
must
you're
adopt
1 minute
that.
now.
Yes.
As the microphone goes to Benjamin, 1 minute.
What Moses has done, and I've said this 100 times, some of the policies are actually universal. If it is a universal primary education, you'll find it in any other country.
I sometimes also
So
tell him
the-
what Namfi used to tell him, that if you throw a bean near a tree, it will grow.
It will germinate. The difference is that people make.
And Dombo gave us the Lusoga version.
Yeah. So the NRM has been very poor, even by its own account.
Poor in what?
In implementation. Oscar, we borrow money here. I'll give you an example.
You don't need. I saw last week the things Parliament
No.
is being advised.
We borrowed the money to do Ginger Expressway, Southern Bypass, 3 years ago from African Development Bank. The money is available. They haven't compensated the people. They haven't finished designs. That's why Katana said they're like a tortoise, the way they were walking. There will be a step made. I mean, 14 trillion shilling borrowed. We pay commitment fees every year, 80 billion on money borrowed, not utilized.
Yeah.
It's like these guys are in a salamba.
Thank you, Honorable Semuju. Benjamin Katana.
Yeah, the dysfunctionality of the state of Uganda, largely on account of over-politicization. You know, there's a reason why the state should be shielded from the politics of parties. But now the state of Uganda has been over-politicized. Everything it is doing, it's as if it is a political party. That's why it is even very hard to draw a line between who works for the state, who works for the party, who works for the individual. And on account of that, there has been what you would call political decay. Because of many reasons, the way people are deployed, undermining efficiency, but also the environment is not conducive, especially for innovation and thinking, because people are comfortable by comparing themselves to how they were 5 years ago, not how they should, where they should have been in the 5 years. And as a result of that, you have the education system that is producing people that are not prepared to handle the contemporary issues. And therefore, they will have the degrees, but they will not have the skills that will enable them, even if they are to be exported as labor, as skilled labor. That's why that our people who will go to Dubai are going to be working as cleaners, as opposed to the ones who are coming from Singapore, who are going to run the banks. And therefore, considering the time spent by the NRM government in power, the 40 years or so, and where we have reached, the speed, to re-emphasize what has been said, has been so slow.
Thank you.
So there are no gains to protect.
Emmanuel Dombo, you 1 minute. You're not getting a minute out of his politicians.
Oscar.
No. You are done.
Oscar, the effect of winning a presidential election is that you legally get taxpayers' money to fund a political party manifesto.
Mm.
Now,
it is correct.
This program here was a political program under a manifesto currently being funded by taxpayers' money. So what he calls over-politicization, I don't understand it, when the genesis is the political manifesto
You presented this piece
that
of
we
paper,
presented
so we are
before the
analyzing it.
population.
You can't stop here, Honorable Dombo. Moses Biarwanga, you finish it off. You have all of 2 minutes.
Yeah, on finishing it off on see on PDM, I was just giving an example of Acholi sub-region. In Acholi sub-region, we have so far spent 192 billion, which has reached 191,000 households, which is 41% of the households in Acholi have already benefited from PDM. Now, Katana here said that I was getting them wrong on PDM. Well, when his party president was in Busoga, I watched a video where he was saying he's going to abolish PDM. He didn't say going to improve it. He says he's going to abolish. He will abolish it. So, Katana should come out clear.
So would you say you'd abolish it?
The NUP president, listen, the NUP president has said he's going to abolish PDM when he comes to power. Now, that means those who is reached will never be reached.
Moses, I have the NUP manifesto, so we'll concentrate on it.
I said the NUP presidential candidate in Busoga said he will abolish PDM. Katana here is saying I got him wrong. So it's a question of English. If he's, but because he said it in English.
Thank you. So finally, Moses.
Maybe he didn't understand what he said.
Thank you so much, listeners of Capitalgang. There's Yusuf. There's we're still on. Honorable Semuju. Yusuf is an SK Runjan X from formerly Twitter says, but this Dr. Yusuf Serunkuma guy, we're in the same class with Somalia. That's a joke of a weekend. Then there's a doctor here, John. He has said.
I'm lucky. I was not. He was not my lecturer. I otherwise, if he's a lecturer of anybody, that person should fail.
So John says you don't know people borrow at 26%, but once you default, banks can charge penalties up to 50%. This is real. I am not so sure. I want to thank Star Cafe. Thank you very much for powering the gang. Rough Cuts, we've entered your time. Thank you so much, Rough Cuts, for patiently waiting. DJ Nyowe is next. I am Oscar Semoyamsoke, and I shall see you next week.